we teach you the method behind it. So when we teach you the method, you are doing the you're doing the reset. We're just teaching you how to do this on your own. The premise behind this is that you have all the power inside of you to do this on your own. All we do is teach you. And I started learning about the brain, the mechanics, and then that brought me into two different sciences. One is the neuroscience field, where I've learned that we all have these pathways in our brains. And what I've learned is something reset-it in my body and my mind.
Wow.
I woke up that morning, I had this energy inside of me that I never felt.
That's very deep. Thank you. Because thought is a thought. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, right? Like you're asking me to go to that moment and look thought as is at that point of time.
That is you connecting with you, the only person in this world.
Welcome to our podcast, where we share stories that inspire and transform lives. Today, we have an exclusive interview with Marc, the visionary behind Reset-it.ca. Marc's journey began with a life-altering health challenge that ignited his passion for understanding the brain. His quest led to creation of Reset-it.ca, a program that helps individuals reset their lives through a powerful blend of neuroscience and quantum physics. In this particular episode, Marc shares his personal journey and explains the core principles of his method, emphasizing the power of presence of interconnectedness of our thoughts and reality. He discusses how playful and light-hearted environment can lead to profound sustainable change. You'll hear touching stories of how Reset-it.ca has helped individuals break free from outdated patterns and embrace a more joyful existence. You can find more details about the program in the description. You would also have social media links of Mr. Marc. Alright, without any further ado, let's get into the podcast. Yes, do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you. Hello Marc, how are you?
Oh, hello there. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. And it's so happy to see you after a pretty long time. I guess it has been more than a year.
Yes, I think it's a little bit more than a year. I think it's been, we met each other first on some other platform, which was beautiful. And now I met you about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Exactly. And that, I guess, that's where you have started Reset-it.ca.
Yes.
And I see the amount of progress has been humongous from that point of time to the current date and time.
Yeah, I started this. This has been a work in progress It's been a work of the last 15 years for me.
Wow.
The last 15 years is that lately the last 2 years I've been starting teaching it to other people. Before I was doing this all by myself, which was really fantastic, really having fun with it. But when about 2 years ago, a lady came into my session and she just goes, "Oh, I love this. I want to teach this too." And what I said to her at the time, I says, I wasn't ready to teach it to other people, and she goes, "No, you're not. You're going to teach me." So I started with her. I sat down with myself and wrote the course and write things the way that I wanted to teach it. And now we're 12 members on the team.
Fantastic. That's so nice to hear from you. Okay, so I just want to get directly into the point because I've introduced you with an AV before my podcast has begun. So,
Yeah.
So how did you, what made you think about Reset-it.ca and why did you even start this program at first place?
Well, it started 20 years ago when I was diagnosed with severe sleep apnea. I stopped breathing 54 times when I was sleeping. I stopped breathing 54 times out of the hour. So I was never sleeping. I was always in that state, in that fight or flight mode all the time. And when they gave me my machine to regulate my air intake to go to sleep, I slept 8 hours for the first time in my life. And something happened in my body and my mind. Something shifted. And that's where I came up with something reset-it in my body and my mind.
Wow.
I woke up that morning, I had this energy inside of me that I never felt before because I hadn't slept before. 8 hours sleep, like what I'm doing when I was sleeping, is that when I was shaving in the morning, I did not recognize the guy in front of me.
Wow.
What I realized is that my thoughts that I was having before going to bed were gone. It's like somebody took my brain, took it out, walked it off, and put it back in. I'm a completely different person. I remember my kids when they were at home, and they said, "What's going on with Dad? He's different," because my mindset was different. So when I felt this way and I had this energy, and the same morning I said, "Okay, I wanted to learn why this happened to me." That's where it all started for me. So I started learning. I wanted to go back in the basics. I wanted to learn really about the mind, how it works, what's the mechanics behind it, what's going on inside of me, why does this change for me? Where before I wasn't the same person, and now I'm a different person. What made that change in my mind? And I started learning about the brain mechanics, and then that brought me into two different sciences. One is the neuroscience field, where I've learned that we all have these pathways in our brains, and what I've learned is that it created a different pathway for me, a neural pathway different than what before. Now that doesn't mean I don't have access to my other ones, but the access of the other ones I don't feel about it. I can remember them, but they don't bother me anymore. They're not active in me. So when I saw that, okay, my brain changed. So this is a new way of looking at my life. This is a new way of thinking. So I did 5 years of research on the brain and the neuroscience. And, when you're in that place of something really new, there's a lot of information that comes in. And what I've learned is that brought me into the second science, which is the quantum energy field.
Wow.
The quantum energy field blew my mind. I mean, literally blew my mind, meaning is that whatever we put into our minds, wherever it's coming from, that becomes our reality. So what we're sending out, let's say that you have a thought that you're not good enough. So what happens in the quantum energy field, because you're saying it to yourself, you're feeling in your body, and you're spreading that quantum energy to all people to confirm that you're not good enough.
Wow.
So what happens is now that I'm in what I call today the state of presence. The state of presence is the absence of all our programming, conditionings, and beliefs. See, before that I had the CPAP incident, I was programmed, conditioned, and I had beliefs around things that had really nothing to do with me. But I got it from my father. I got it from my mother, my society. School was teaching me a certain way, conditioning me in a certain way to behave in a certain way. And once that was gone by automatic reset, then I learned, I can put anything into that space and that becomes my reality. Boom, everything changed for me. Everything from that moment on, everything that I put into that state of presence, the absence of our programs and conditioning, became my reality automatically. So I studied the brain for 5 years.
Okay.
And when, I started teaching this here in Montreal, and I'm getting some really good results from it. Some amazing results, because it's just resetting what doesn't belong to you. And then in 2016, some of my clients were talking, and somebody heard that what I was doing, and it was the TED Talk people. So the TED Talk, I was invited to do a TED Talk in 2016 on my research of how we can change our lives in a fraction of a second. And it's really that fast.
I'm more interested in learning about it. So before we go, I just wanted to comment a little bit on the struggle which you went through, because sleep apnea, which seems to be a small thing for people, like, oh, you can't sleep, what's the big deal about it? And that it's a huge deal, right? Yeah, because basically your body is trying to reset itself. Oh, because of the reset thing which is happening now, body is trying to reset itself, and somehow you're not able to do it because of the apnea. And that impacts, it's a cumulative effect which goes on and affects whole of your well-being. Wow,
it affects the way that you think, the way that you behave, the way that you eat. It all affects that. The danger behind it is that when you have sleep apnea is that you stop breathing. And sometimes there's a lot of people that die because they can't rebreathe, they can't take the breath again. So the biggest danger with sleep apnea is that you're going to die.
It's so dangerous condition, and people tend to ignore it, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
okay, that guy is just snoring. That's
No,
it's more than snoring.
it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. But once you control it, once you understand it, and you get your like I sleep today. I even sleep today with a machine to regulate my air intake because it's something in my nasal pathways that it's broken that they
Mhm.
can't fix it. So I sleep with a machine to bring air into my body so I don't miss my breath.
Mm.
Once that starts, the oxygen into my brain, because don't forget, when you stop breathing, you lose that oxygen and your brain is not nourished anymore with the oxygen. So it's like you're becoming slower. You're not in that. It's hard. It's like it's a struggle for you. Your body is shutting down because you're not giving oxygen to your cells in your body.
Wow. Oh, okay. So that's the, I guess that is the trigger of you for Reset-it.ca,
That's where
right?
that's when it all started. The premise behind it. When I saw myself in the mirror the first time, I felt this energy, and I wanted this. I said to myself, "I've got this is really important to teach this to other people, to make them feel this way." And that was the premise behind it, is to teach it in a way that, and I found the way to teach this that you don't have to work on yourself for 10 years.
Wow. So, okay. Before I really want to dive deep into what is the procedure and what is the program all about, and how do you know what is the architecture of the behind this. But before we go there, I really wanted to understand. Take me through some stories, like not stories, like take me through some, the impact of this program on the people who have taken this program from you.
Okay. The impact is really about what we teach, because don't forget, we teach this. We're not coaches, we're not therapists. We teach you the method behind it. So when we teach you the method, you are doing the reset. You're doing the reset. We're just teaching you how to do this on your own. The premise behind this is that you have all the power inside of you to do this on your own. All we do is teach you this. And once you've learned it, that becomes yours. So you don't need us anymore. Now, when people go through our program, which our program is, by the way, it's only 2 sessions long. You don't have to. It's only 2 90-minute sessions long. So you don't have to invest a lot of money and get into that space. Now, what you will receive from us and what you going to live is, now that you're going to live on, all your choices that you are going to make from that moment on belongs to you. So the impact on this is that the relationship that you had with your partner, it was based on a programs and conditioning. Once you reset the conditioning around your partner, well, that becomes a different choice for you. So you make that choice based on your information, that how you feel about it. Now, the impact is going to be completely different because you're making that choice based on who you are. Now, you asked me about how the impact of people that go through our program.
Hmm.
I can give you a couple of stories, because
Yes, please. Yes.
it's amazing what happens when people go through our program and they realize who they are and making choices on what they do and what they want to do. I had a young girl that came in, 14, 15 years old. She was programmed in kitchen a certain way about men at 15 years old.
Oh, okay.
So what the men were doing was abusing her.
Oh,
So the abuse was the program and condition of men doing things to her. So what I taught her is that once you reset all the programs attached to it,
mm.
and then you reset what other people are something on top of you, once you reset that, now you have a choice. And from that choice, you decide what you want to do in your life. You decide who you want to spend time with. You decide to do what you want to do. And from that moment on, once she finished those two, she was able to make her choices. on what she wanted to live, not based on her programs of abuse.
Oh my God, that's so.
So the power that, and we get this a lot, is that the power is already inside of you. There's nothing new that we're doing. You've felt this way before. Is that what happens is that you are programmed and conditioned not to see it. And all we're doing is teaching you to get back in that space. So that girl that learned that abuse was this, she learned that from her mother or father. So they were abused. They transferred that program on to their daughter. The daughter became that program as well. And if she didn't go through the program of the Reset It, her daughter would go through the same thing. It's generational because that's where the programs and conditions start, from generation. So let me take you, another thing is that when, we have these things around our society about making money, about money. So when you are programmed and conditioned, like here, with my family, was that money does not grow on trees. You have to work hard for your money.
Money doesn't grow on tree, and you have to work for money.
And you have to work for it.
Yep.
You have to do things to make money and this and that. But the thing is that, let's say your parents lost a lot of money. They went bankrupt, or they did something in their life and they were missing money. They're poor people. Well, that's the program of being poor. So that poorness, that program transferred over to their kids, and they become poor. Another thing is that when people are, let's say, I'm not, here in Canada, we have social, when they're welfare, we take care of our people here. Okay. With that system, is that the mother, when they first started, was on social assistance. Their kids become social.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
And their other kids become so, because that's what they've learned. That's the program against help. It's not that it's not about not helping people. Don't get me wrong. We do our stuff that we need to do to help people that are in need. What I'm talking about, the conditioning response to the program. Once you get into that program, well, it's harder to get out of because it's so easy to stay there, because they make it so easy to stay there. So these are things about the programming, the conditionings that we're all in. Like when I was 13 years old, I received from my father the program that I was not good enough. Now, the way that happened is that when I was 13 years old, we had a career day at school. And during that career day, I wanted to be my grandfather he's a plumber, and I wanted to be manual stuff. I wanted to do the stuff the handy stuff. I wanted to be an electrician for that. So I came back home that night and I told my father, Dad, at school we had a career there, and I think I want to be an electrician. And what came out of his mouth was that you're not good enough in math to do that trade. Now, he continued telling me later on the explanation around it. But when I was 13 years old, the only thing I understood that I wasn't good enough. So that program was inside of me until I was 45 years old.
Oh my God.
So I received my reset.
At 45.
Yeah, at 45. So from 13 to 45, I wasn't good enough. I couldn't have the money that I wanted to because I'm not good enough. I couldn't have that relationship because I'm not good enough. I had to settle for things that I didn't want to settle because I wasn't good enough.
Because that kind of, how should I say, that kind of expanded into your psyche, I guess, right?
It became a belief.
Oh, yep. I understand what you mean.
It became a belief. I believed that I wasn't good enough. And when I've learned on the quantum energy field, once I believe something, that becomes my reality. And the quantum energy is setting out to confirm that I'm not good enough. It will give me things that will reinforce that I'm not good enough.
Take me through this quantum energy thing, like very briefly. What exactly are you referring as
The
quantum energy?
quantum energy is, I'll keep it in simple terms. For
Yes,
sort of
please.
simple terms, I want to explain it to you in a different way.
Okay.
If you if you if you think about a friend in your mind, and when you think about that friend reaches out to you
Mhm.
later on during the day, or I thought about you, and you just calling you.
Yes, that happens. Yes, you're right. Yeah.
You're thinking about something that sends out in the quantum energy to your friend to say, hey,
Mhm.
give me a call or
Wow.
communicate with me. So that's the quantum energy. The quantum is everything that is, when you put an energy against it, that's where it's going to flow. So if you're thinking about something, the quantum energy is going to work for you. So, but it's the same thing as that when the quantum energy, if you're in a bad place, well, the badness will come out as well. Either one works for you. But when you
Mm.
reset what the programs and conditioning are about, and you, in that state of presence, you resonate an energy, this energy of who you are. Because why did we get together? Because of that energy.
Right.
Saw something in that conversation. You said, I want to reach out to Mark.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I didn't do anything special. All I did was being me in the state of presence without my programs and conditioning. So that
Correct.
energy is circulating to people, and that's what you're receiving from them.
Oh, wow. So this kind of answers a lot of things in my mind right now, because the things about manifestation, things about law of attraction, things about I come from Eastern philosophy, as you know, like the Indian and Chinese philosophies, where in which there is a belief that everything is interconnected at very foundation level, very deep level. Everything is interconnected. Everything is actually one pyramid, like one big structure. We are all part of it. So it kind of says that. And what you've literally explained to me in very simple terms, the same thing, and so beautifully explained. Thank you so much for that. So now that now that we have good thoughts, they will you know take us to the good position. If we
I just want to
implement,
stop you for. I just want to stop you
go
for a
ahead, go
minute.
ahead. Yeah, sorry. I barely did it.
It's not about the good or bad.
Oh, okay. Any
Because
thought for them?
any thoughts, because there's no
Oh,
good or bad programming. There's just programming. So if you're using the good part, you're measuring the good with the bad, or you're measuring the bad with the good. That's the
mhm.
duality in your programs and conditioning. But when you are in a state of presence, there is no good or bad. There's just you making the choice.
Wow. That's very deep. Thank you. Because thought is a thought. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, right?
It
Like
doesn't matter.
you're asking me to go to that moment and look thought as is at that point of time.
That is you connecting with you, the only person in this world. So
Mm.
once you're in that, what we call the state of presence, the absence of all these programs and conditioning,
Yeah. Yep.
when you're absence of that, that becomes your mind, that becomes who you are, and you're circling this all over the world. It's coming from you. And if you want to call it the law of attraction, or you want to call this manifestation, whatever it is, it's all one thing. When
Mm.
you are so well with yourself and connected with yourself in the state of presence, all that becomes your reality.
Wow. That's very deep. So, all right. So, I've got only 30 minutes of time. I know you're a very busy person. Thanks a lot for giving me, that short time. But I have one last question for you, Mark. Explain to me the architecture of your program very briefly, and how would that? Because now that I understand how it's gonna. Uh, okay, let me explain what I've understood. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Let's say it's kind of the Reset-it.ca, the program which you're conducting, it basically clears off the fog in front of the car. So the life is going on with a lot of conditioning. You need to stop here, you need to stop there. Oh, you can't drive, you can't do this, you can't do that. All influences coming from all over. Like we keep accumulating stuff, right? Like as we grow. So what you're asking us to do is go to our true self, deep down within us, which is us, the
Mm-hmm.
the pure form, and asking us to go there by removing the conditions, wiping off all those conditions and looking at the moment as is, and then take a decision. So this is what I understood. Correct?
Okay, right, correct. The thing is that
Thank you.
the thing is with what you just said is that you can't remove things that do not belong to you to remove.
Ah, yeah.
See, you're going to work on yourself for the next 10 years trying to remove things. Once you're in that place where you can reset that issue, once you reset that, well, then it's nothing new that we're doing. It's something that you're already there. You're already in that state of presence. It's just that you're programmed and conditioned not to see it. So by resetting the things that don't belong to you, automatically your 50 to 60 trillion cells in your body now recognizes that you're back into your state of presence. Your body will tell you whether you're in a state of presence or you're not. The body will never lie to you because now you're listening to the body, where before you were in your programs and conditioning listening to the body.
Yep.
Completely different way.
Yep.
So the mechanics behind this is that everybody's got a program, good or bad, whatever. It's just a program for me. So if that program is affecting your life and that's the program you're running, it's not you that's running it. It's been given to you by other people. It's given to you by your mother, your father, our society's been transferring these programs and conditioning onto you. And all you are doing is following these programs and conditioning. So what we do is teach you that these are the programs and conditioning. This is what's controlling your life. And we have techniques to get you in that space. And then what we do is teach you to get out of there, to get out of those programs and conditioning. So what the first thing that we do is teach you how to reset your five senses. By resetting your five senses and what happens in the body, the energy that you have in your body now recognizes that you're back in your state of presence. Because what you're seeing, based on your programs and conditioning, you have this way of looking at things. But when you're looking at through who you are, you have a different look on yourself. So let's say that you're an entrepreneur, you're a business person. You have a company.
I am one.
Okay, so what happens with our programs and conditioning, when people look at you, they look at you based on your programs and conditioning. You resonate in energy around your programs and conditioning, whatever that is. So most of the entrepreneurs, what they're saying to their future customers based on those programs and conditioning, they're saying, please don't buy from me.
Yeah.
Okay, same thing when you're looking for a partner. The partner is based on the programs and conditioning you receive. That's the duality. If you're looking for a partner, what they're seeing, please don't go out with me because I have all these programs. But when you're in the state of presence, this is what we're going to teach you, is to get you in a place where your programs and conditionings do not work. So when you're in that space, and that's what we're going to teach you. It's easy to learn. It's nothing complicated. It's so simple that it's even stupid that we thought about it. So it's really that simple. I mean, it's really that simple. Once you go through it, you can. That's it? No, that's it. Once you learn it, then what you do is that you always validate what you think, how you feel through the state of presence. So let's say that I'll go back to the program that I received that I wasn't good enough. So what happens to the brain when you think about that program that I'm not good enough, the brain will always match what you're thinking about, and they'll give you exactly, it will give you your environment that you're not good enough. Okay? So that's the energy around it. So when you want to reset that, you've got to get out of that situation of not being good enough, get into your state of presence by using this technique that we teach. And then all you have to do is replay what you thought about in your programs and conditioning. Once you replay it in your mind, you just resetted it. Because the way the brain works will always remember the last time you thought about it.
True.
So if you're thinking about it from the state of presence, what you thought about before is gone. You don't have to work on it anymore. It's finished with. And that's why it's so
fantastic. Amazing. Thank you so much, Mark. It's You kind of touched and explained, the architecture of your program, if that was my question, but you kind of explained it already. But yeah, thanks a lot for that. Understanding my mind, we both are connected at quantum level, I guess. Thanks a lot for that. So I would request you to, for another podcast, if whenever based on your availability, of course, I would want to dig deeper into the quantum, thing, what we were discussing about, and how do we, use that knowledge to enhance our well-being, attract what we want in our lives, and be a good, what do you say, be prosperous mentally, physically, and materialistically. So yeah.
So, you know what we can do, and this would be interesting for you to live through. So we call it the neuroquantum experience. It's something that you have to experience live with one of our team members. So what I want you to do is I want you to go on my website, book 2 sessions with me. I'm going to teach you the method.
Thank you.
You're going to go through the experience to get. I'm going to go through it. Then what you're going to do is that we got on a second podcast, and you are going to talk about your experience going through it and how that is changing your life.
That's
I can say
firsthand.
Until the cows comes home, but really what you've got to live through and how you live your life will be based on you, not based on, I'll teach you the method, then you can do this on your own, and you resonate in energy, and you'll see how things will change in your life. And now
Wonderful.
you talk about it, now you understand because you went through the experience.
Wonderful. Then, yeah, let's plan it out in the next few months. Amazing, sir. Thanks a lot for your time today. And I hope to meet you soon then.
Yes. I should be in Toronto pretty soon. So we've got to meet. We're going to go for a coffee or something.
Sure. Please leave me a text once you're here.
All right.
Thank you.
For having me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.